Hi again everyone, I hope you're all doing super well. Today I'm going to do a quick update on the trading status of Vinco Ventures, ticker symbol BBIG, as we approach the all-important proxy vote this week on Thursday. I'm going to cover a few things, including what the underlying value of the stock looks set to be following the meeting on Thursday. This is in light of last week's warrant executions. I'm going to provide an update on some technical trading patterns that have started to emerge recently, as well as look under the hood of the potential for a short squeeze occurring in light of all these developments. There is a little bit to cover, so let's get straight into it. Diving into the trend analysis, we had previously observed that Vinco Ventures had been trading in a falling wedge pattern and was approaching a point of convergence, which was a sign of a potential breakout. However, the stock appears to have been trading sideways and has entered into a bit of a holding pattern. Zooming in, we can see that there has been a new level of upward resistance since it broke out of its falling wedge pattern at the $5.50 mark. When you look at the fact that the RSI signaled slightly strong buying conditions during Monday's trade, and keeping in mind that the wider market in general has been selling off, it paints a picture that there is a sense of positivity for the stock heading into Thursday's meeting. To me, I think the weak market conditions are generally what is keeping the stock from meaningfully moving above the $5.50 mark. And I think at this point it's worth remembering that the execution price for the warrants that were sold last week were $6.45 each, which is about a 20% premium on the current share price of $5.33. So I think that bullish sign could be an indicator that the market is viewing this upcoming vote in a positive manner. But such is the nature of this stock, really anything can kind of happen. In terms of short positions under distress, there are possibly some more distressed shorts caught out from Friday's trade over here, but it would not be a major contributor to the squeeze effort. There is a need for a stronger upward movement for there to be any hope of this play executing, in my opinion. Still, as we have seen in recent times, the distressed short positions are all caught up in the pre-September trade, indicated by this red box. And the chances are many of these short positions have possibly already covered. I honestly think at the moment the short squeeze effort is a secondary prospect for this stock. I wouldn't be getting into this at the moment if you are just in it for the short squeeze. The decision on whether to buy or not buy this stock should be more pinned to where you think the stock is going in the future, particularly around the moving parts of all these mergers and acquisitions that are going on. Again, just having another look at the short data I have available to me, BBIG is still way down on the rankings on Fintel. These figures have improved slightly with the exception of the outstanding float being shorted, which took a little bit of a hit. I suppose this can be expected given the slightly upward nature the stock has been trading in lately. But just to reiterate, I still believe this is not the major play if you're looking to buy into BBIG stock, at least for now anyway. Now onto reconciling what the net asset value of BBIG is going to be following Thursday's proxy meeting and the expected yes vote to proposal 4. So we have covered before that BBIG stock has a negative tangible book value of 80 cents. Well, at least they did based on their most recent financial records. Basically, BBIG were in a negative equity position. Now, to understand the calculations that I've done here, you really need to look at the two previous videos when I worked out the tangible book value changes based on the two events. That being the likelihood of a yes vote for proposal 4 on Thursday and last week's equity raise and the potential purchase of AdRiser. Anyway, to start with, we can confirm that the AdRiser equity raise has already occurred. The purchase of AdRiser has not occurred, but the money has been raised through the execution of warrants. The move alone boosts BBIG's tangible book value to $3.42, which is quite attractive, especially if you believe the network of businesses they have been getting into are promising spaces for the future. On to Thursday's proxy vote, it is expected a yes vote is to occur for proposal 4, which will put into action another large equity raise to settle a series of acquisitions and mergers that have been worked on throughout the last 6 months. But of particular importance here is the Lomotif deal. If this action is voted yes, then there will be another large expansion to the shares outstanding in the company and would technically boost the net asset value of the company to an impressive $1.275 billion. So this would be another huge win for shareholders. Now, if the vote ends up being a no, which is not likely to happen, I believe much of the cash that BBIG has been raising recently is what is going to be used to fund these transactions because they have a fallback. So these mergers and acquisitions are going to occur. It's either they're going to occur through the issuing of stocks and execution of warrants, or the spending of their cash reserves, which could be crippling for the company, as they will be quite low on resources and these businesses are not businesses which are immediately profitable. However, through doing some further research into these deals, I do know that The AdRiser deal, if finalised, will partly be debt funded with $25 million from the overall $108 million being spent on the deal by the company. This obviously takes away slightly from the net asset value. The other item of interest is, while it has already been raised by the company, the Lomotif deal came with $120 million in debt funding, which is yet to appear on the company's books, as it occurred in July and their last reporting period ended in June. So this will also need to be factored into the new book value of the stock. Also, what is quite interesting is last week's equity raising occurred just after the September reporting period. So again, it won't show up in their financial records until after December.
Naughty, naughty.
Anyway, as a result, this extra $145 million in debt will lower the tangible book value down to $3.40 per share, provided the proxy vote on Thursday receives a yes vote for Proposal 4, and the AdRiser deal is finalised as it has been stated in the S1 form that was filed last week. So there's a lot of moving parts. So while all this is good news for the shareholders of BBIG stock, these figures I've come up with do not factor in the change of book value Vinco Ventures will experience as a result of the Cryptyde stock dividend spinoff, as they have not said much about what assets will be linked to this new entity, nor the value of those assets. Materially, if you are an existing BBIG stockholder, it won't really matter, as you will still be holding those assets through the new stock that you will be issued. But in saying this, it will change the underlying tangible book value of BBIG stock, so that is worth keeping in mind. The other issue that needs to be considered with this figure is that the companies at Vinco Ventures have been absorbing a generally future focused and are therefore not demonstrating much in the way of earning capacity and profitability at this stage, and we've covered this quite a few times before. I do believe the AdRiser business may be a slight exception to this rule and is at a more mature stage than the other assets that they have been acquiring. Businesses in that space can make profits, so I would not be surprised to see if AdRiser is indeed profitable. I do know part of the purchase is to generate potential synergies with some of their other existing companies, but it would really be nice if it is a profitable business that they are bringing in. However, aside from AdRiser, which is not yet under Vinco Ventures' control, all of their businesses run at a loss. As such, investors need to be mindful in understanding that while BBIG has a lot of cash on their books, they will be burning through that cash to continue their operations, which will deplete company assets until, of course, other equity raisings occur or profitability is achieved through some of their business activities. Anyway, what do you guys think about Vinco Ventures stock heading into Thursday? Are the recent signs of resistance in the stock price to macro trends a positive sign for the company? Are you planning on holding the stock for the long term? Let me know in the comments below. I'll try and do a follow-up video on the stock following the proxy meeting, or if there are any significant news developments that are worth talking about. Until next time, everyone, may the markets trade in your favour. Cheers.